Hey everybody, welcome back to We're Not Dead Yet, episode 5. And yes, that is Brian Yaus. And yes, he's not at home. He's at Epcot and Brian, introduce yourself. What the hell is on your head?
Hey, this is Brian. Nice to see everybody. Glad you're all listening. Curt just blew the quiz I had in mind, asking where I am. But yes, I am in fact at Epcot. Um, happiest place on earth. What can you say? I'm wearing a set of lovely German Mickey ears. They look like pretzels. Why am I wearing Mickey ears? And why are they from Germany? Because you pick the scenario, I'll take the Germans. That's my motto. 100% true in every ASL scenario I can think of, anyways. Nice to see you, Curt. We survived
You haven't
last
gone
night.
down. Well, we were gonna tape last night, and apparently, Hurricane Katrina 2.0 blew in.
That was a
And it was,
wrath
yeah,
of God storm in Orlando. There was thunder and lightning and at least 5 inches of rain for 2 hours. It was insane. But other than sitting in the hotel room wondering, geez, do we try to flee? Do we just ride it out and hope it doesn't collapse on us? Here we are. I ended up watching the Bills Ravens game and being entirely disgusted by that outcome as well. So I don't think yesterday was a great day, other than being at the happiest place on earth. Um,
well,
and I thought
Washington
to my
won, so you're happy.
Washington
Uh,
won, so I'm happy. Washington is my team.
and
Uh,
Steelers won. Rogers threw 4
Steelers,
touchdowns. I was very excited.
Rogers doesn't look old. That's football season. It's the best time of the year for me. I love
Yeah.
football season.
This is
I
when our
love the
Sunday night
fall.
This is when our Sunday night play test intersects with Sunday night football, and we generally play a little slower.
Yeah, we play a lot slower because we're busy heckling each other. For the record, I should have taken the trade Curt offered.
Yes.
Bill from the Commanders. I wanted him, but I didn't pull the trigger. And the little SOB runs for like a bunch of yards and a touchdown. What are you going to do? That's fantasy football.
Yep. No,
Anyways,
that's why
let's talk
I'm gonna.
ASL.
Yeah. So we're gonna wait till Brian returns to his hometown to talk about the championship scenario in the final round of WBC. So thought we'd jump into a little something to help new players rules wise, and we thought close combat would be the place to be. So Brian, kick it off.
Close combat. It's the one of the last phases in the turn. A lot of people seem to think you've got to push towards close combat and get into a fight like that. I am not one of those people. I try to avoid close combat. Because I'm the guy that when I've got 3-1 down two, manages to somehow roll a 12 or lose to like a 1-6 roll, and it happens so frequently. There's no way that the math or luck matters. Um, but there's things you can do to make it better to get into close combat. Ambush, you definitely want to have the opportunity for that. And if you have the chance to play the Japanese, you want to avoid close combat, in my opinion, and kind of skirt by the guys in close combat. What this will do is give you, hopefully full squads behind the enemy and totally block their retreat paths. So they have no choice but to shoot. And what are they going to do? Flip you? Like you care. Your return fire is going to hopefully break them. And now they can't route and they die. It's my favorite thing to do with the Japanese. But, uh, let's talk about getting next to somebody. How do you do it? Uh, I'll let Curt jump in a little
Well,
bit
no,
because I
I
don't want to
there
monopolize,
and
but
I wanted to throw in and preface like,
whoops,
oh, I like the monorail, nice. Um, but
sorry about that.
all close combat is not created equal, right? In the sense that the Japanese are very different, very lethal in close combat, depending on the setting and the environment, PTO, jungle, and all the stuff that go with that. But I think that one of the more important aspects of close combat is paying attention to the victory conditions. Is it needed for you to fulfill victory conditions, or do you want to avoid it to fulfill victory conditions? Because that plays into how you approach. I mean, I think that there's the conventional approach, which is the half squad scout bumps and or reveals Japanese hip, which is not, again, in the PTO is not all the same. But then you march the concealed unit up or assault move the concealed unit up and then advance in concealed to gain somewhat of an advantage if you're going against the Japanese. But I do believe that the VC factor in heavily towards your desire to or from close combat in any scenario.
That's a really good point. And one, quite frankly, I don't often think of. If I get to the end of a game and you have to control a building, sometimes you have to do close combat. Um, I hate it. I just hate it. And when you have the opportunity, red barricades, a lot of Hazels, Japanese, where you can declare hand to hand, I hate it even more.
Right,
Because then if I have a huge advantage on you, lucky three still wipes out a
right,
bunch of my guys. It's
yeah.
there's it's just such a gambler's risk to get into close combat. I can't tell you how much I avoid it. That
Well,
being
and
said,
hand to hand turns combat into a far more lethal setting because now you're looking at potentially not just a 3, a 4 or 5 at bad odds can get you casualty reduction, which in some of our games has resulted in you Yahtzee. But yeah, there's it's I guess the uncertainty of close combat is what makes people afraid of it, and it is obviously as it should be a much more lethal form of combat because it's guaranteed death to the loser as opposed to where the Japanese break and flip in close combat, they just die.
it's just brutal. I don't even know how to say it. But if you really want to push the odds and you want to do close combat, you've got to have advantages, and those advantages have to be in your ambush attempts. That's where your mods are really going to be best because you'll get a chance to attack first, which means you won't die if you ambush the other guy. Even if you fail, his role is after. So maybe you casually reduce him and change the odds even more in your favor. You want to ambush. So how do you ambush? You get next to guys. You run up a guy to throw some smoke and then assault move a guy if it's an open ground hex. In the woods, it's easy. You just assault move next to him as best you can. You can still throw smoke on him, probably keep your concealment that way. But you want to just keep that concealment on somebody so that they can advance in and get that -2 modifier. Big leaders. Man, it's tempting to throw that 9-2 with a couple 8-3-8s into close combat because one of your 8-3-8s is concealed. I'm down 4 on ambush. Holy crap, I can kick the living nuts off of that 4-2-6 Russian. Oh, well, you whiff that roll by rolling a 6 and the Russian somehow rolls a 1 or something. Now, maybe he declares hand to hand in red barricades and wipes out that stack at 1-6 down 1 hand to hand. I can't even remember the roll off the top of my head, but I think it's around a 5. I will throw away 4-2-6s every day for a chance to take out 9-2 leader. And in fact, I might not even go against everybody there. I would probably go against the 9-2 and one of the 8-3-8s. Just don't, you can't be crazy and think that just because they have a -2, they're Superman. A lot of times I see people playing do that. I do that myself. I just lost a 9-2 in our Kharkov playtest to a sniper because I thought, well, he can stand being behind a wall while the 9-1 would be in the stone building and get a little extra protection. He'll be okay. Well, I forgot all about snipers that don't give a rat's fanny about protection of a stone building or a wall. They go, oh, that's
Well,
less 10. Let
let's
me take
talk
him out.
let's let's talk about your extremes in the sense. So a lot of people don't understand the 2 and 12 in close combat. In normal close combat, and you'll see it in and I'll find the rule reference, but a 2 or a 12 is A11.22. A 2 or 12 stops combat, close combat, and it changes the sequence in the process by which close combat is resolved. And a lot of people don't play this right. And uh real quick, if you want to talk about that, just talk because again, you're talking extreme. You're fearful of close combat for the extremes, which
Right.
I think is to some degree rightly so. But that the 2 or 12, the infiltration rule is not often done right.
With regard to what? I mean, usually if you roll a snake eyes, you're killing the guy you were fighting against.
Right.
So it depends on your ambush position on
But
whether the effective
if you're
act.
the second guy, if you're the defender rolling the snake eyes and you've been killed, things can change because obviously you can create a leader, which changes the odds, which changes the outcome of the original close combat die roll.
That's right. And many times that added leader will bump a column one way or the other, and suddenly it's just casualty reduction instead of a KIA.
Right.
Then you roll to see how that casualty reduction goes. Uh, that's certainly one thing that does happen. The 12 is nice because you get to decide whether you want to withdraw or not immediately.
Right. And that's
Um,
immediate.
yeah, you don't get to make an attack and withdraw like an ambush. You just have to withdraw. That's time to make that decision. And a lot of times, especially if you're the defender and your turn is next, then when you should withdraw because then you're going to have a piece to move and use versus somebody tied up in melee possibly. Um, I'm a big fan of that. Again, push, get behind the guy that just 12'd on you. So now in your prep fire, you can shoot break him, and where's he going to go?
We're not gonna get into detail in depth about it, but let's talk about an offshoot of close combat versus vehicles. Um, with the upcoming changes to the VBM rule, that are occurring in Journal 16, there will be some adjustment to close combat as and vehicle bypass freeze or whatever. But it's something that I don't think a lot of players there's lethality to it from the infantry side of things, and you're especially in a situation we saw in with Iron Will. You know, you've got a German force with no any tank or no armor itself, but 3x range Panzerfaust and all things that go with that. But the added patsy check for non-leader MMCs and stuff like that. It's a different game. Are you a guy that's aggressive with armor or aggressive with infantry against armor for close combat?
Um, I'm too aggressive with my tanks. I tend to lose them. Uh, if I lose them in a place where they help me, I don't care. But that doesn't always happen, and sometimes I lose them to stupid LOSs or things like that. That happens to everybody. You just got to work around it. Um, What I'm not is super aggressive with infantry trying to jump into close combat against tanks. It's got to be a street fighting situation. I've got to have a chance for any tank mines or something. Basically, if I'm rolling like a 5 or less, if I can get a good tank for a 5 or less, I might try and take that. But I think that that's rarely the case. Often they're in motion. That makes that 5 a 3 or less. I'm not looking to throw guys away for a 3 or less, except once again conscripts, but they make the situation even worse. Um, it's tough. I mean, because so many times you whiff, and then the infantry is held in melee, and the tank is not, which is not wrong. I mean, I feel like that plays correctly, but it's just not a great situation because the next turn, the tank in melee is going to just one to start if he's stopped and
Right.
back fire on that shot and get a triple point blank machine gun fire shot, probably breaking your infantry. Um,
Well, I do like and correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's non-close combat reaction fire where the infantry can. There's the monorail where the infantry can hammer the tank and the tank gets no shot back. Right? It's
Which
I
one was that?
believe
I'm
it's
sorry, I missed it with the monorail.
no. I was saying one of the places where I'll always take it is in. I think it's non-close combat reaction fire where the vehicle gets no attack back,
Okay.
and that's right. Hold on.
Off the top of my head, I don't remember if that's right. It sounds right because the tank is probably moving into overrun or something like that.
Right,
You're
right,
getting
right, right.
essentially a free shot.
But that it's also, I would say the close combat example on A32, A33 is something that you should read paragraph to paragraph and and if need be, which is the way I learned a lot when I was younger, put the pieces on the map and have a look at exactly what they're explaining because that example covers just about every single thing you could think of when it comes to close combat infantry wise and against vehicles. And yeah, in order for an MMC to advance into it, yeah, Patsy for 11-6, but there is street fighting is also a big deal, and for the Germans, man, the SN is 16 firepower.
The Snoogie Werfer. Snoogie Werfer is
Yeah.
powerful. You gotta love it. Now, I don't know how many times, probably the Russians. God, I don't think 666 Americans want to be taking patsies to go into fight Panthers that have Snoogie Werfers.
So,
Uh,
yeah, in
Not for tight Buffa.
A11.8,
Um,
uh, in A11.8, talking about street fighting. If broken or pinned on top of wire, then number two. Furthermore, any vehicle in such a road hex that is attacked by a infantry coming out of a building may be attacked with close combat reaction fire by infantry on the ground level of those buildings as their defensive first fire attack. Reaction fire is identical to street fighting, except that the vehicle may not attack back. So know
Pretty
when that,
nice.
and that's the thing. Know when that is. That's the thing that separates the good from the great and the average from the good is knowing, hey, listen, if he moves in here, I've got a free attack, so I'm taking it, as opposed to trying to figure it out on the fly or on the run. And that gets back to what we were talking about with really good players. When you move a vehicle, they know when they're moving a vehicle where they can and cannot move, and where the choke point is, and where the potential street fighting no fire back hexes and locations are, and they avoid those.
I think good players know when to close combat, period.
Yeah.
And they don't do it just because they can. Um, again, in the Kharkov playtest, because that's what we've been playing a lot of lately, I took a flamethrower shot to DM a squad. And it's like, how stupid was that? I mean, I shouldn't have done it, but I really wanted the guy DM because I didn't want him back. And of course, I 12 out the flamethrower. A key piece, I only have one. Now I don't. We're fighting in factories. Boy, I wish I had a flamethrower. But, there's a difference when you can take a shot and when you should take a shot,
Well,
and when you can enter close combat and when you should enter
right,
close combat.
and you're mentioning close combat. It hasn't come into play, but it will in the next two scenarios we're playing in the campaign game, because once you're into the factories, it's literally red barricadey in the sense that you're fighting for factory hexes for the rest of the game.
With SS versus NKVD. So it's 8 morale guys just going bonkers on each other
Yeah,
with huge firepower attacks and trying to mop up what's left. I think people are really going to enjoy Kharkov. I can't wait.
I agree.
Speaking of Winter Offensive, we have found a location. Possibly they're working up a price for us. Let's hope they're realistic. If in the past, Winter Offensive was always sponsored by the World War II Foundation, or before that, the ALS Foundation. And the hotels would willingly give us the meeting room space in exchange for selling out 20 or 30 rooms for the weekend in the middle of the winter, which is a big deal to hotels. I don't know that I've sold the new place on this. It is near Frederick, Maryland, recommended by John Slotwinski. We think it'll work. It sounds like the size is right. The good news is there's a couple of Waffle Houses within like 5 minutes away.
No, wow,
So
yeah.
yay for us. That's a win in my book. I will keep everybody updated on that, but I think this sounds pretty positive so far. I
All
got
right.
my fingers crossed.
Listen, Herr Mickey, I'm going to let you go and enjoy Epcot with your lovely wife. It was good catching up with you, and we'll talk this week and have a fun week.
One thing real quick.
Oh wait, we got our contest.
Contest winner. This is number 3. Did we promise something? This is the guy we were doing a Ponry for, right? I think we did Chef de Pont. So this is
We did
episode
a
5. We had
we
2,
did a
3,
pocket
4.
rule book. We
We did
did
a Chef de Pont, and then we did a Ponry. So we need to give something away. What are we going to give away? Um, why don't we give out the ASLOC pack? Whatever ends up
yes.
getting released at ASLOC, I think it's going to be 3 things. We will send all 3 things to the winner, whose name is. I told Curt to write it
Oh
down.
my God, you wanted me to write it down?
I did.
Oh, okay. I totally forgot.
That's
I
okay.
don't have
His
it.
name
So
was his name
Garrick
was
will
Scott. It's
Garrick will
Scott
say those.
Thompson. It's Scott Thompson.
Scott
Um,
Thompson. There you go.
I don't have a city because Scott didn't put it in his email. I will email Scott and let him know he won, and he can send us his address. Uh, so we need a quick thing for next week. Um, and I really was going to go. Where am I? And
I know. I know.
that's okay. Uh,
Um,
running out of things to do.
I
It's
know.
so early.
I know.
All right,
My
take
hat.
it.
What is my connection with my hat and
Perfect.
the unit on my hat? What is the connection I have personally with that? Send that to.
Podcast at mmpgamers.com. And if that happens to be wrong,
Podcast at
we'll fix that.
mfggamers.com, and you will win whatever we're giving away to Aslock, which I think is gonna be 3 things. So, send that there. So like, subscribe, guys. Keep spreading the word. We're having a blast. We will catch up with the final scenario for the World Championship. Pleb and McGrath talk about that. Maybe even have Pleb or McGrath on to talk about that next week.
Sounds awesome.
Have a great week, guys.
Everybody have a good time. I'm at the Food and Wine Festival. I'm about to go experience some food and wine.
Take it
See
easy,
ya.
B.